What's going on, everybody? My name is Lorenzo. You can call me Zo for short. Um, basically, I talk about anything and everything that could be helping, men and women in their lives, just leveling up, relationships, business, personal development, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I will continue to keep pushing these videos out, just give as much value as I possibly can. So, if you could help me out by, subscribing to the channel, and also just sending my videos out to your friends, family, or anybody who you think might, find this information useful, that'd be great. Yeah, so look, today real quick, I just want to talk about, basically when it comes to the burdens of men and women in their life, right? So this one's just going to be about the men, right? What a man goes through in life, what our burdens are, right? And I believe that, men and women are obviously, equal as human beings. And, we each have our strengths, we each have our weaknesses. And of course, along with that comes our burdens in life, right? So I believe those are equal. Let's just be real about it. I don't think that a man's burden is, um, you know, stronger than a woman's burden. I think they're both pretty much equal. And I think God or the higher power or the universe has made it that way for a reason, okay? So let's not get it twisted, all right? Okay, today just talking about, a man's burden. So basically, we as men, we have to go out into the world and create our value, right? This is what makes us valuable as men. This is what basically I believe, is spiritually soothing as well, because we as men, we want to perform mostly, generally, most men want to perform. Most of us are competitive. We want to go out in the world and, make a name for ourselves, put our stamp on the world, and eventually be a leader or be someone that can, look after a family, and be a man for his woman and his children, right? That's what being a man is about, right? Being able to protect and provide, right? So, if we're going to be the best versions of ourselves, we need to go out there and create value and do what we believe we're best at. So we need to find what that is. Number one, we got to find what we're good at. You know what I'm saying? And what we find pleasurable in what we're good at doing, and then trying to find ways how we can make that valuable in helping other people in the world. All right. So with that comes a lot of stress, a lot of persistence, problems. Like even just running a business, which I've done before. There's a lot of problems, man. Every day you're putting out fires. And even now as a business consultant, right? I work for a firm. There's constant problems that I'm dealing with. You know what I'm saying? In helping my clients and stuff like that. So, if I want to make money, if I want to do well, I'm gonna have problems to deal with, right? Um, as the saying goes, you don't get anything in life without hard work, right? And whatever you put out, you get back. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna get major reward back, you got to put in major work. You got to deal with a lot of problems. The bigger the reward comes with the fact that you've maybe solved a really big problem. So that means you had to deal with a lot of stress that came with that, right? So as men, we have to go out there and we have to compete. We have to, create value, like I said, and be able to solve problems. Okay. Um, there is a burden of performance on us as men. Even our own family, our own parents, even my own parents, I have to constantly, you know, show that I'm doing something, that I'm doing great. And even then, whatever I do, even if I'm number one at what I do, which I have been many times in my state, in my department, whatever the case it is, it's still not good enough. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm number one in the whole country at this and this and that, and I performed well, and boom, boom, boom. You tell them that, and they'll be like, yeah, okay, great, great, but what about this? But what about that? And it's like, what? Like, do you know what I had to go through to become number one in the state out of 200 consultants? You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy like that, right? As men, you know. Women, it's different, and we won't go into that into this video. But with men, especially when it comes to things like, when you hit 18, 19, 20, whatever the case may be, Everyone's always going to be asking, what are you doing with your life? Are you in school? Do you have a job? Do you have any prospects? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? And at 25, you're still living with your mom as a man, and you ain't got no prospects, no job, nothing at all. It looks pretty bad, more so for men than it is for women. Okay. Women have their own burdens, and we'll talk about that in the next video. But men, we're prone to become depressed if we're not producing value, right? We're prone to become depressed if we feel like nothing's working, right? So we have to keep persisting, keep driving, keep motivated. We have to keep our testosterone levels up so we can compete. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of weightlifting, exercise, and stuff like that. Women don't have to lift weights, right? Even though it's good for them, and it helps their, it helps their body posture and their health and all that kind of stuff. But men, I believe, men need strenuous weightlifting, right? Because it actually increases our testosterone levels and growth hormone, which is what men need to stay healthy. Testosterone is actually needed for men to stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? It's a need. If a man's testosterone levels drop tremendously, his mood drops, his belief in himself, his confidence. And if he has other people to look after and protect and provide for, that's a lot of pressure for someone who don't have no drive. You understand what I'm saying? So, we'll talk about testosterone and what it does for men in another video, you know what I'm saying? But right now I just wanted to focus on the main thing, and that is the burden of performance on men. And that's our burden, you know what I'm saying? And producing value in the world and competing. And there's a lot of competition. You understand what I'm saying? So, I hope you got some value from this. We'll definitely talk about a woman's burden in this world in the next video. And yeah, continue to rock with me. Talk soon. Peace.